Queen Nation, welcome to another episode of Just Queening It, where we talk everything women. If it has to do with a woman, we talking about it, okay? So listen, today we're going to do something just a little bit different because I've been getting some questions and I've been getting some inboxes on questions about me, about my family, about my marriage. And so I was like, let's do a Q&A. Okay, so this episode, we're going to do a Q&A. We took some questions that have been asked to me throughout, my videos. And I'm going to, some of them I've already addressed, but I'm just going to share it because somebody else may have how you be in class and they be like, don't be afraid to raise your hand and ask the question because your friend or your neighbor may have the same question, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a Q&A. I have my wonderful assistant, my husband, who's going to read off some of the questions that we received, and I'm just going to answer them right on the spot. Okay. I didn't rehearse them, practice them. We just going to flow, and hopefully it just flow how it be flowing and just go with it. All right, here we go. So what is the first question? I make my husband work, y'all.
How do you submit to your husband?
Nah, I told y'all my husband is my assistant today asking these questions. He would choose that question first. How do I submit to my husband? I don't. No, I'm playing. He's shaking his head like, no. Listen, it's tough. It is because with my personality and the type of person that I am, I like to be in control. I like to know what I'm doing, and I like to have a plan for everything. So submission has always been a big issue for me, right? But I think throughout the years, first off, I think my relationship with God, because God always steps in and tells me when to say something, when not to say something, how to say it, if it should even be said. So I think that's the first off, because before, when we first got together, I was raised in the church, but before, when we first got together, I wasn't like deep in there. So I would just, whatever came to mind, I said it. Whatever I thought about it, I said it, right? And if he wanted to do something and he wanted to lead us in a direction, us meaning our family, then I would always have something to say, and I always fought him on it. And I always questioned, like, are you sure? But as I got deeper with my relationship with God, then our relationship as a couple got deeper, and it got more real, and we started to understand each other better. I started to understand how he thinks and why he thinks the way that he thinks and what he's thinking. So when he would come to the table, when we would have our family meetings, and he would come to the table and with an idea or a vision or whatever the case may be, it allowed me to keep an open mind, and allowed me to not look at him giving the information, because I think sometimes what we do is when our husbands come to us, we're looking with a vision or with an idea or with direction. We're looking at the messenger. That's our husband, and we're looking at it as who he is, and it shouldn't be coming to him, but we're not looking at it as God sent him and what he's been given from God to deliver to us and to how to lead our family. So I think that we receive it wrong when we look at it, it's coming from a husband, instead of it, it's coming from God. It's coming from the fact that he's a man of God and, and whatnot. So with learning all of that, that's what allowed me to put me on a right path of learning to be submitted. And being submitted does not mean that everything that he says for our family to do, I just do it. It doesn't mean that everything that he says for me to do, I just do it. It's really him just coming to the table, coming to me with something that was given to him from God, and then we talk about it. I give him my piece and what I think about it. And then he takes it back to God. He prays about it. And then he comes with whatever it is that he comes with. Oh, okay. So being a wife is not what I thought it was going to be. Because what I saw growing up was different than what my marriage is. I married a man that he's a dreamer, but he's also he has a dreamer heart, and spirit and all of that, but his mindset is entrepreneurship. So when you marry someone like that, there's going to be a lot of there in the beginning. There's going to be a lot of struggles financially, because if they start a business, then they're going from starting a business from the ground up. You don't have the funds that you need to start the business, so therefore you have to take from what you're making or what the household is bringing in, so that way you can start the business and fund the business, and get in the client and get in the clientele or the customers or whatever the business is. So what I saw growing up was 9 to 5ers. So it was, they went to work in the morning, they came home in the evening, the next day they did the same thing. And it was that for years. That's just what it was. I don't know what happened, what was going on behind the scenes, but that's what I saw. So then when I met a man who, he worked and he provided for the family, but then when he felt like his business was tugging at his heart, he left that alone. So he left his 9 to 5 and he went to entrepreneurship full time. So that took a big hit on us financially. And that was hard. That caused a lot of friction at first, because I needed stability. I needed to feel secure in the relationship, and so I was just going off of what I needed at the time. It was me. This is what I need. This is what you need to provide. But after sticking it out for a while, and he was just very adamant about it, and God dealt with me personally about it. And when I shifted my mindset from me, and this is what I need, to just being the supportive wife that he needs, then that's when his business took a shift. That's when, the money took a shift. So then we started to see some of the fruits of his labor. So basically at first it wasn't. Now, as far in that aspect, as far as, being happy, as far as it being a real relationship, it still wasn't what I thought it was going to be, because what I saw growing up, I didn't see a lot of positive communication. Not saying that the different relationships that I saw didn't communicate, but I didn't see a lot of it. And I didn't see, or if I did see a lot of communication, it was yelling at each other, arguing, this, that, and the third. So I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know no other way when it came to my own relationship. But our relationship, now I told you I married a dreamer and with an entrepreneur mindset. I also married a very calm but stern and firm Southern man. So arguing was not his thing. Me, I'd argue quick. Arguing was not his thing. So that brought me, that changed my mindset in a lot of ways too. So then it shifted once again our relationship, because now we have a relationship where we communicate. And even in the beginning, we communicate about everything, absolutely everything. Like whether we're on the phone, when we're just dating, when we're living in the same house, we're staying up till 3 a.m. Like we talk about everything, absolutely everything. and I didn't see that. So being a wife, I would say it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It's actually better. I can say that. It's actually better. No, our finances may not be where we want it to be, but I would take the happiness and the joy and the peace of mind and the love, and the support, everything that he gives me. I would take that over finances any day. I'm not going to say he's my everything, but he is everything that I'm not. So it makes us work. We definitely balance each other out, and it makes us work. So the wife aspect, that's, so that's good. As far as being a mom, for the most part, yes, it is what I thought it was going to be, because I was that older cousin that, would care for the other cousins, and I was a girl too. So I was that one that, would cook breakfast or cook lunch or make sure that the younger kids and the babies were taken care of. And you know what I mean? So I was that type of a cousin. So I already knew my way around a kitchen and my way around, kids and diapers and stuff like that, and different attitudes and whatnot. And then the way that we were raised, and what we were and were not allowed to do, it definitely helped guide me to how I knew I wanted to be as a mother and how I knew I didn't want to be as a mother. So I would say that the mother aspect definitely is pretty much what I thought it was going to be. So I started I started Just Queening It back in 2016, where it started off as Q2Q, where it was from from one queen to another queen. And I started it because I felt as if part of my purpose was to be there for other women, to help them, to guide them, to encourage them, to empower them, to inspire them, whatever they needed. I wanted to be, I felt like I didn't want to be. So let me just switch that, because I fought God on that for a very long time, because I felt as if I was like, I have nothing to offer. Like, who am I to have people listening to me? Who am I to have people to, talk to? Like, I'm just another person. I have my own struggles. I have my own issues that I'm dealing with. So who am I to be this person? So I fought God on that for a very long time. But I wanted to be obedient, and I started, and it started off as a group where we just got together. Then, and I wasn't consistent. It was back and forth. Every year it was back and forth. And then I recently just changed the name from Q2Q to Just Queening It. Q2Q is still in there, but it's Just Queening It now. So it's Just Queening It podcast. And that's because, as I started to develop the mission and and God started to develop in me the real reason behind it, it was a case where we're not out here winging it. We're not out here just, we are winging it, but we're winging it with class. We're winging it because we're queens. So we're winging it with class. We're winging it with, elegance. And so that's where instead of just winging it, it's just queening it. And so God reminded me that when I was younger, people would always come to me and talk to me. And even then I would be like, why is everybody telling me their business? Like, anybody they just feel like, and not too long ago, matter of fact, a lady told me her whole business, not her whole business, but she told me a lot of her struggles, right? And I had just met her that day, and she was like, I don't. And then when she was done, she's like, I don't even know why I just told you all that, but I just feel like I can just, just lay it out on you, and so God is always reminding me that back when I was a child, they would just do that. They would just lay it on me. And I didn't understand then, but I understand now. Like I was voted for as one of the ones that, people and my peers felt that they could go to and talk to, when they did some type of voting at that time. I don't know what it was called. It was so long ago, but I actually was blessed enough to go to retreats where I was able to develop and master, the leadership piece of it, the guidance piece of it, and just how to talk to people and how to encourage and whatnot. So I feel like it was just part of the purpose, and it was just what God wanted me to do. Definitely wasn't what I wanted, but